I just wanted you to do me a favour, if you could, and just pull out that crystal ball next year. And what's your sort of educated view on the Australian property market and where it's heading next year in 2024? Or this year, sorry.
Very, very timely, because just this morning I put up my little video about my 2024 property market predictions. Now, why did I do that? It's not because I wanted to. It's just an expectation. And I think the media is to blame for that. It's just one of those crystal ball style articles that they love to run. And let's have a look at 2023, or perhaps it was 2022, where all the economists said negative 30%. And then suddenly they revise and they revise and they revise to roughly, 7%, which is kind of where we've landed. You look at the consensus and it's somewhere between 1.5 and 8%. Now that's talking about the property market, if such a thing actually exists. I said in my little video that I expect the property market, if I must come up with a number, to test the top end of that band, if not break it. So I'm sort of saying in and around 8% or more. So I've got a little bit more of a glass half full, and we've got more water and more glasses if we need them attitude. The reason why, which I think is more important, is the fundamentals. I mean, the number will be the number. We have a pandemic. We have an invasion of another country. Like, all these things influence, and how do you predict it? But what we've got is we've got an increased level of listings, but only just coming up to the 5-year average, and the rolling 28-day count is still super, super low. So the listings are getting hoovered up pretty quick. We've got fairly record levels of overseas migration. We've got a fairly healthy economy and a reasonable household savings. The mortgage cliff hasn't eventuated. We've seen property investors scared out of the market. So we're at crisis levels of rental accommodation, and we're not building at a pace that the government expects that we will. The 1.2 million homes within 5 years is an absolute fanciful idea, given a huge construction shortage. We're talking a third of construction companies are reporting shortages. And then we've also got a huge pipeline of government infrastructure where all of the tradies are going. And of course, the bushfire season has maybe just about to start, but certainly natural disasters are coming thick and fast, because Mother Nature's very upset at us for what we've been doing. And, those insurance disasters, they pull a lot of the trades as well, because that's where the money is. I mean, I've spoken to huge volume builders saying, we can't get roofers. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're like the big name. You're like the McDonald's of building. Like, surely people want to come and work with you, but there's actually more money elsewhere. So I think all of those fundamentals, in concert with the sentiment in and around rate reductions, possibly in 2024, says that there's a lot of fire up the backside of property for 2024 for me.
So why do you think that they are? I mean, the media, right, there's always an agenda, right? It's a business; they've got a message behind it. But is it there to cool in like, I guess, the inflation issue that we're seeing with cost of living going up? But that's their kind of idea, is to put that commentary out there so people put that doubt in their mind. But it kind of is counterintuitive in my brain, right? Like, if you're trying to tell people the market's not going to do much, but we're on this massive housing supply shortage, you look at everywhere. I mean, people are living in tents in Brisbane at the moment. It's pretty crazy, but that's why I'm bullish as well. You've been around a little bit on the tracks. Any sort of insights into why they're saying the 1% to 4% rise?
The economists, I guess I haven't met an economist or read any economist that I believe fully understands the property market, and they work on models, right? And, I've said to people, like, economists are obviously very bright. They're very clever people. I don't think they're just all idiots on a massive salary and they're sort of sitting there at their desk going, gosh, I hope they don't find out I don't know anything. They're obviously very clever, credentialed people. But the property market is a bit of an obscure thing. I don't think there's any model that exists that can predict the movements of it. We can see kind of trends, but the data often has a little bit of a lag to it. And with property, it's not like necessarily like stocks that are trading on fundamentals. It trades a lot on sentiment, right? And people don't always do rational things, right? Otherwise, we probably wouldn't need buyers agents, because everyone would just make the best decision. But we get caught up in our emotions. So I don't know why. They've come up with those numbers. I guess they just kind of think, yeah, it's probably going to be positive, but I got my fingers burnt from going so far as to say 30% drop. Like, we don't really ever see drops in excess of 6, 7, 8%. Hasn't really happened for a long, long time. Certainly since I've been alive, and you can tell by my face that's been a while. So I just don't really know. And the media doesn't care, and the market doesn't care about the media either, because you can see so many articles where they talked about Brisbane had to boom because of the differential between median house prices in Sydney and Brisbane was so big that it just had to happen. And that story sort of kept getting published for about 10 years, and it did absolutely nothing. Now, of course, like, you wait long enough, every prediction comes right. Like, people are saying, oh, Perth's going to boom maybe 5 years ago. Could they look like they're geniuses today? Maybe, depending on who's writing their press releases. But yeah, the media, they aren't educated about property markets. They are there to sell eyeballs, essentially. So they'll tell whatever story they think fits that narrative. And I've had media people call me with a story already written, just wanting to get a couple of sound bites for me to put a package together that has already been done. So, if you want to understand property, I think turning off the telly and not reading the media is a good start.
Except for this media,
I agree,
of
100%. And
except for this one and any media that I've been in ever. I still actually hope to have a media profile.
You beat me to it, mate.
I've just set fire to it.
You just beat me to it. I was just going to say, except for the Property Powers Australia and Geared for Growth.